In 1980, Amancio Ortega opened the first Zara store in A Coruña, Spain. His goal was straightforward: move a new dress design from sketch to hanger in weeks rather than months. Shoppers who had once waited for seasonal collections could suddenly buy copies of Paris or Milan looks at prices that fit a factory wage. The system worked so well that within 2 decades, the model had spread across Europe and beyond. Yet the same speed that delivered choice also locked the industry into constant overproduction and disposal. Zara and H&M set out to make runway fashion affordable for ordinary shoppers. They created an industry that now produces 92 million tons of textile waste a year, while emitting 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gases. Amancio Ortega came from modest circumstances in A Coruña. He and the early teams at Inditex, along with executives at H&M in Sweden, were responding to a clear post-war reality. Most clothing remained expensive relative to income and slow to reflect changing tastes. Department store cycles still ran on 6-month lead times. That left working families with limited variety and little ability to refresh wardrobes without significant cost. By shortening design-to-store timelines through local production clusters and rapid feedback from store managers, the companies believed they could deliver dignity and self-expression to a broader public. The approach aligned with the era's broader faith in flexible manufacturing and consumer access. Those same ideas had already lifted living standards in food and electronics. Ortega saw affordable fashion as a practical extension of that progress. Zara opened its second store in 1975 and began refining a quick response system in the early 1980s. That system moved production closer to its Spanish distribution centers. H&M scaled a similar model across Northern Europe during the same decade. It sourced from lower-cost factories as trade rules eased. By the mid-1990s, both firms were reporting double-digit annual sales growth. Zara reached 1,000 stores worldwide by 2004. Store managers sent daily sales data that factories turned into new garments in as little as 3 weeks. Early observers in business journals praised the reduction in unsold inventory and the widening of style access. A few labor economists noted that compressed timelines would eventually push suppliers toward lower-wage regions. The dominant narrative at the time centered on efficiency and consumer benefit. The same just-in-time logic that cut lead times also rewarded volume. Each new collection had to be produced quickly and cheaply. Orders therefore shifted to factories in Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Wages there often fell below local living standards. Because styles changed weekly, garments were designed with shorter physical lifespans. Polyester blends that were inexpensive to knit became dominant. Those blends later proved difficult to recycle at scale. Consumers responded to low prices by buying more and discarding sooner. That behavior generated the 92 million tons of annual textile waste now tracked by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation and national environmental agencies. The emissions total of 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gases stems directly from this loop. Energy-intensive fiber production, long-haul shipping of short-lived items, and methane from landfill decomposition all play a part. Second-order effects appeared in water tables around dye houses. They also appeared in the bargaining power of suppliers locked into contracts that penalized delays. Third-order effects emerged as fast fashion habits normalized disposability across income levels. Slower, higher-quality alternatives began to appear economically irrational to many households. By the late 2010s, brands began publishing sustainability reports and piloting take-back programs. The European Union introduced its 2022 strategy for sustainable and circular textiles. That strategy aimed at mandatory recycled content and extended producer responsibility. Some factories improved safety after the 2013 Rana Plaza collapse. Overall production volumes continued to rise with the arrival of Shein's on-demand model. Attempts to slow the cycle through resale platforms and rental services have grown. They have not yet offset the underlying incentive to manufacture at ever lower unit costs. Current estimates suggest global fiber production will still increase through 2030 unless binding limits on virgin polyester are adopted. When speed and price become the primary metrics of success, systems naturally optimize for throughput rather than durability or material recovery. Incentive structures that reward rapid turnover will locate the cheapest available labor and the least durable inputs, unless those choices carry explicit costs. The fast fashion story therefore invites anyone designing access-oriented systems to model what happens when the marginal unit becomes almost free. Whether the domain is housing, food delivery, or digital goods, the same dynamic appears. What second-order behaviors would your own organization's efficiency targets quietly encourage if left unexamined? That's the case for today. The lessons tend to travel further when you share them. So send this one to someone who'd find it useful and subscribe wherever you're listening. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the Nera Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen, SpaceX Daily, the daily companion for following SpaceX as a public company from Starship to the stock ticker. Find every show free at neranetwork.com. And on the website, every episode's visuals live in our free image gallery at neranetwork.com/gallery, royalty-free under Creative Commons, download with attribution. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.